Welcome to E-Flood Vac at TD Insurance's Make the Difference Challenge. Let's first talk about the Canadian flooding crisis. According to Global News, Canadians submit $400 million in flood damage claims every year. So, in Canada, flooding is the most costly natural hazard. In 2017, 5,000 homes were affected by flooding in just the province of Quebec. Overland floods happen when water flows over land and collects in a certain place on the landscape. The main situations that lead to flooding are a large volume and/or intense rainfall, snowmelt, as well as hurricanes and tsunamis. In 2017, rain and thawing snow led to a high water level and flooding in Quebec. The answer is E-Flood Vac, a predictive software for flooding and risk management. Now let's talk about how it works. Our hydrologic and hydraulic models map where water flows across a landscape to better predict the location of a flood. Using IBM's Watson Analytics, we input various data sources pertaining to storms and floods. First, E-Flood Vac uses a hydraulic model on the local scale of the area that we are predicting floods for. E-Flood Vac also uses a hydraulic model to determine where water collects on the surface and if it will lead to a major flooding event. Using IBM's Watson Analytics, we then input various sources of data pertaining to storms and floods. These data include water levels of local water bodies, cloud formations, and wind patterns. This data comes from governments and news outlets, including Environment Canada. Moving on to our solutions, E-Flood Vac is a predictive software that warns users of an impending flooding crisis, with the goal of increasing public safety and also reducing cost of damages. Automated calls alert users via mobile phones and also landlines. Preparations instructions are sent to our users to ensure safety on how to prepare for an impending flood and how to evacuate during a current flood. E-Flood Vac is connected to EMS. We notify the EMS about which homes have been evacuated or not. This increases the efficiency in the provision of emergency medical services. Flood alarms at home. Using the Internet of Things, E-Flood Vac is compatible with household lights and alarms, which will notify users of any emergency, much like a smoke detector, but for floods instead of fire. And finally, let's measure our impact. The beneficiaries of E-Flood Vac are mainly the public, insurance agents, and government bodies. We offer location-specific guidance to the public on how to evacuate safely, how to minimize property damages from flooding, and how to obtain the most beneficial home insurance for your specific situation. As for insurance companies, you can broaden your clientele with high awareness on flooding, gain profits by charging homeowners greater premiums during high-risk flooding seasons in a given area, and also maintain your bottom line by decreasing your loss ratio. As for government bodies, local conservation authorities can focus efforts on at-risk infrastructure and ecosystems where flooding is most prevalent, supplement government flood monitoring systems, and also improve communications to agencies, municipalities, and communities.